Hey everyone, Ben Fleischek with SCHEELS. Today we're going to talk about what's in the turkey vest and what do I carry in the pickup. So first we're going to go ahead and start with the turkey vest. Right here we've got our private label turkey vest that had partnered with Alps Outdoor to do it. We built a great vest here, very excited for it. It's still on the shelf right now. But as we go through this, you're going to see that some of the stuff I carry might be a little bit overboard, but at the same time I carry it because I've been in situations where I wish I would have had something else. Losing a glove, forgetting where your face mask is, setting a striker down, then moving on in life, and then coming back and like, oh crap, what do I do with that? So as I go through this is excessive, so you don't need all this, but I have found that in this turkey vest, I've got everything I need. So first, let's go ahead and start on the front side. Up here on my front chest pocket, I've got a low carry call. This right here is just an owl hooter. There's many different types out there. You can do an owl hooter, you can do coyote howler, you can take a duck or goose call, you can honk your truck horn, you can do many different things to get a shot gobble out of a turkey's. They're fun birds to play with, and usually just even a loud noise. I mean, there's been times I've been walking in the woods at night, early in the morning, and I step on a twig and I break it and I get a shot gobble. So they're goofy birds. Next pocket right here, got a gobble call. I like to have a gobble call with me handy. Right now you can tell that it is making noise. So what I typically do is I'll actually put a cap on this. You know, you can take like saran wrap and rubber bands, so that way it just keeps the air from going so it doesn't make as much noise. Next, on the same side of the left chest, this is a bigger cargo pocket that we have on this vest, and for in here, what I have is all sorts of fun stuff. So I've got my gloves, got a face mask, got a headlamp. I like using a blaze orange or a brighter color because, again, I tend to leave stuff behind in the heat of the moment, so at least this guy sticks out for me. You can use a green light. This one's actually a green light, as you can tell. You can use green, red, white, doesn't matter. Typically, depending on the moon phase, sometimes there's enough light that I use zero lights because I don't like any lights because it messes with your eyes, and then when you sit down, you're still used to seeing that bright light from your headlamp, and you can't see anything in front of you. So next thing I've got is conditioners. So I've got conditioners for my glass calls, crystal calls, as well as my slate calls. I always have that handy with me. I'm always conditioning my calls when I'm hunting. So that's what I've got there for quick access. On the other side here, I've got this front pocket. I've got some various diaphragm calls in there, 3 strikers. Again, excessive, I understand. Another thing I keep in there is I always have an extra shotgun shell or 2. This is a 12 gauge, and I got 410 shell of TSS in there still. I always like to have some extra shells on me. As the season progresses, it's kind of like an upland hunting vest. You just randomly have all these different shells with you. I like having those with me though, because depending on how deep you're into the woods, into the farmland, the property, whatever it might be, there's some canyon lands that we hunt. That's public property that, I mean, you can literally walk 3-4 miles, and you never want to be without shells. I mean, obviously we don't want to miss our turkeys, but things do happen. Next thing we've got right here on the front, we've got some holders for my pot style calls. Got a few different types. Another one right here. So I've got a crystal right here. This guy, oops, is yet again another crystal. And then I've got my handy dandy slate call surface I absolutely love. But there's a reason why I've got 1 slate, 2 crystals. Crystal just makes great sound. It's a little bit louder. To me, personally, a slate is going to be the most realistic sounding turkey call, but I do believe the versatility of crystal is a little bit better. So that's why I do have 2 of those. And the reason why I have multiple calls is you never know the conditions you're in. If you're tucked up against a tree, I do not do a lot of ground blind turkey hunting, so everything I do is I'm just exposed out to the elements. I've had bad luck with just a freak rainstorm coming and then getting the surface wet. I've been sitting underneath trees and had the dew drip down on my calls, just bad luck again. But that's why I like to have 2, at least 2 crystals, 1 slate for sure. I bet you it's 80-20, 80% of the time I'm using my slate call because I don't want to get too aggressive, too loud right away, and I do transition into the crystal calls. And when I'm running gunning, it's typically just a crystal call in my hand. So that's the front part of the vest here. As we actually open her up on the inside, I've got even yet more stuff. So I've got a big cargo pocket here, toilet paper, you never know. Extra face mask, you never know. More gloves, another face mask, again, you never know. When I'm going out hunting, whether it's a guided hunt or it's a mentor hunt of some sort for youth, for new shooters or whatever else, no matter what you do, you can tell people to grab stuff. Sometimes they forget. I've forgotten sometimes. So that's why I like to have all this extra stuff. And we got the pockets for it. And here, I got another gobble call. I like having 2 gobble calls because at times I like to sound like multiple birds, as well as making sure that if I have a youth hunter with me, that I can give them something to do. And a gobble call is super easy to use. You just shake it for the most part, and it's just fun and exciting. Okay, next side over here. Not that one, this one. This is where I kind of keep some of the harder stuff in here. We've got extra decoy stake. I've had that bad luck happen there, fall out of the bag. We got prune snippers. I like using those if I need to make a makeshift blind. It's very simple to do that with the prunes. For the longest time, I used to just use a pocket knife, and it's just not as effective or as easy. So this is what's set up in my turkey vest currently right now. There is some extra stuff that you will kind of gain as you're going through the turkey season, like plastic bags. On this side, I usually use, yep, right here. It's a slip dog collar lead like you get at a vet clinic, you know, if you forget your collar or your leash, excuse me. I like using that sometimes if I have to drag birds out. This vest is nice because it does come with a game pouch and it is large enough to carry a turkey. But if you do have to drag one, always cut the beard off first so you don't ruin it. You know, these birds are beautiful birds and we want to do everything we can to utilize as much as we can of that bird, you know, for the turkey fan, the beard, the spurs, everything else. But there are times where I do have to drag a turkey out. Next, inside here, this bag is usually in my truck while I'm out turkey hunting. And this is kind of my excess catch-all gear bag. And so I'll have extra ammo in here. I'll have extra hats, extra gloves. Again, excessive, but you never know. Got a SCHEELS Outfitter hat and our verdant camo pattern. It's a beautiful turkey pattern. We're excited for it again this year. This right here, I don't have my shotgun with me, but I usually add this guy onto the butt stock of my gun. And the reason why is I like to keep the shells right there. Easy access, quick access, and as well as typically it only takes 1 shot to kill your bird. So that way I don't have to load up my vest. I do have extra bullets in here as well, or shells, excuse me, but got that guy. Some warmer weather gloves I like to have with me. Depending on the time of year you're at and what state you're in, like right now, up here in North Dakota, our season opens up here in a couple weeks, and it's still potentially going to be in the teens, the 20s. I know last year for opening weekend it was super cold up here, and so I do like to have a little bit warmer gloves with me. Got additional diaphragm calls, weird, another face mask. As you can tell, these are extremely important when you're turkey hunting. You want to cover your skin up. Okay, next I've got my Aftermarket turkey choke tube. I like to shoot a .660 constriction, and the reason why I like that is the size of shot. I'm typically shooting 6 shot and above. 6 shot all the way up to about 7.5 shot. And I do appreciate the 9 shot TSS. This stuff is incredible, but it's not legal in all states, so make sure you check your DNR's webpage for that. Next, shotgun sling. I like to have a shotgun sling with me. Again, this is my turkey vest or turkey bag, so as we progress right into the season, I'll be putting this on my gun, I'll be putting on my Aftermarket choke tube, I'll be getting everything ready, I'll be getting my shell carrier on my gun. The gun I use for turkey is also the same gun I use for my upland hunting and waterfowl hunting. Okay, as I keep digging in here, more gloves. These are the fingerless ones from Fish Monkey. I like these too. These are great for when it starts getting warmer out. Another sling. So that way if somebody does show up and they don't have a sling with them, you got one. I like carrying an extra box call with me. I don't necessarily hunt with the box call that much, but I do like to have one with me for new shooters because they're so easy to use. They're so versatile as well. Here's a motion base I use from some of my decoys. Don't mind the bag. But inside here, I've got additional strikers right here just in case. And I've got a surface conditioner for my crystal calls, glass calls. I like having that in there. Shotgun cleaning kit. The reason why I have that is things happen. You know, if you ever get a barrel or restriction inside the barrel, whether it's debris, mud, leaves, sticks, you never know what it is. I like to be able to clean it out. Rangefinder. Typically, this is only important when I'm doing archery hunts. I also like to kind of do it to make sure that we have an effective range, but after, you've done it so many times, you do understand, what 15 yards looks like and how we want to finish that out. And another kind of tip and trick I do is I try to walk out my turkey decoys, so I'll have a specific hen decoy out, knowing that, hey team, or whoever we're hunting with, that is the maximum range. Do not shoot anything past that. Gun wipe, oil wipe in case it's raining. Another surface lid conditioner. Sorry, not conditioner, but cap. As you can tell on my pot calls here, I'm a big fan of having surface lids on it, because that surface that you have right here is everything. So once you get that condition, you can actually kind of see where I've been practicing on this. You always want to do your preseason practice. But as you can see, I've got stuff on there. You never want to put your oils from your hands on that surface. I treat this as careful as possible. Any type of surface I do, you never want to be putting your fingers on it. So anyways, that's why these are good, because it doesn't rub off in your pockets. Okay. Another crystal call. Never know. Not promoting this brand, but ibuprofen or aspirin, you never know what you feel like in the morning sometimes when you're out hunting. Another decoy stake. Piece of rope that you can use to add an additional drag. Trash bags. What can happen is if you get super muddy, I like to be able to take my clothes off, in the mornings if we're running gunning, you're walking through the dewy grass. You don't want to put it in the back of your pickup for whatever reason. You don't want it to blow out. You don't want to put it in the cab of your truck because it's so wet or dirty or whatever nasty. I can throw my clothes in a plastic bag. You got extra knife in there. One thing I learned early on, my Uncle Bob taught me, is always have an extra lighter with you. Not saying that you're ever going to need it from a survival standpoint, but if you're ever grilling on your tailgate and you think you had a lighter but you don't, I always like to have one in my hunting bag. In there, I just got some additional random gloves, a piece of paracord for an additional drag, or if I got to tie something up, another pair of gloves, and just a bunch of random, another surface container. This is some chalk for a box call. I like to have the extra box because with new people, they don't quite understand that you can't touch this, you can't touch that. Also, it just teaches them, you have to condition, you have to take care of your products, your equipment, and so always having some additional chalk with you. So in general, this is the chaos of my turkey hunting stuff. Again, I'll have some extra shells in there. I'll have 20 gauge, I'll have 12 gauge in both 3-inch and 3.5 inch, depending on what I'm shooting or whoever I'm going out with is shooting. I like to have that extra stuff. So as you can tell, this is excessive. Do you need all this to go out turkey hunting? Absolutely not. Will you get to this point eventually? Most likely. And it's just because you've been through enough experiences that, for example, walking, running and gunning, you may have to walk a half mile. A gunsling is so important on your shotgun. It makes life so much better, especially when you're carrying a couple decoys with you. Extra gloves, face masks, all that again, super important. Why? Because bad luck happens. You may forget it, it may blow out, it may fall out of your pouch, it may fall out of your pocket, you may think you put it in your pocket, but you really didn't. We've been through it all, so pretty easy. Aftermarket choke tube, you don't necessarily need that. A lot of it's gonna depend on how far you're shooting your turkeys. Most times I like to measure my turkeys that are killed in feet, not yards, because I want them that close, and so you can get away with a more open choke, an improved modified, a full choke, or a super full. You don't have to go to the aftermarket. I personally believe in the aftermarket because I like shooting a tight pattern. I like to know that what I'm shooting at is going to be effectively and efficiently killed. So this is what I've got. Appreciate it. Look forward to hearing more from your stories. Make sure you guys are swinging into SCHEELS or going on to our social media platforms. Ask any questions. We're happy to help, and thanks for tuning in.